Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Khoiriah Liska Nopriliyanti from PBI 1 2018, and in this video I'm going to answer the question of teaching English as foreign language methodology. Okay, the first question is, please mention and explain briefly the component of communication process. There are a few components of communication process, and the component of communication process are context, sender or encoder, message, medium, recipient or decoder, and feedback. The first is context. Context is the prime component of every communication process. Context represents the setting in which communication happens or takes place. This context may be physical, historical, psychological, social, chronological, or cultural. For example, we feel comfortable to share our personal information with close friends rather than colleagues. This is an example of a social context that influences communication. This may be an opinion, attitude, feelings, views, orders, or suggestion. And the second is sender or encoder. The sender or encoder is the person who intends to convey the message with the intention of passing information and ideas to others is known as a sender or communicator. And a sender also makes use of symbols, words, or graphic or visual aids to convey the message and produce the required response. Okay, the third is message. A message is defined as the object of communication or the thing that is being communicated. A message may be spoken, written, visual, physical signals. Some qualities of a message include its wording, directness, and purpose. Each message has a specific purpose. Like the first, to convey important fact or information, and the second, to persuade the receiver to accept or reject certain condition or actions, and the third is to motivate the receiver to act in a specific way, and the fourth, to stimulate discussion about a particular issue and or to entertain the receiver. Message can have many other purposes like instructing, warning, greeting, or requesting information. For a message to be effective, we should know exactly why we plan to send it. The fourth is medium. Medium is the transmission or method of delivering a message. For instance, we communicate through speech in face-to-face conversation, as well as through email, an instant message, a telephone call, and or a written letter. And the fifth is recipient or decoder. The person to whom a message is directed is called the recipient or decoder. To comprehend the information from the sender, the recipient must first be able to receive the sender's information and then decode or interpret it. And the last component of communication process is feedback. Feedback is any response to a communicated message. It takes the form of a message itself and may be verbal, visual, or written. Often, feedback is essential because it is what turns one-way communication into two-way communication. Feedback may be positive or negative. Positive feedback indicates the receiver has received and understood the message, and negative feedback indicate that the receiver either has not received the message or has not understood its content. Okay, the second question is, why do humans need a language? Language is a vital part of human connection. Language allows us share our ideas, thoughts, and feelings with others. Every day, we use language to communicate, argue, learn, negotiate, and so on. A better understanding of language as a collective human ability and of their speakers help us to better understand how society functions and how to improve it. So that's why human need a language. Okay, the next is question number 3. Please give your opinion about the period: Dutch period, Japanese period, independence period of English teaching in Indonesia, and which one do you think the best English teaching period? Okay, the first, Dutch period. My opinion about the teaching English in Indonesia in the Dutch period. Indonesian students get very good English instruction because even though everyday students have to learn Dutch language, English is still a compulsory subject that is studied 3 to 4 times a week. And students are also given a lot of reading books, so the students have sufficient media or sources to learn English. And beside that, at the time, students had to go through written and oral exam to find out their abilities. And the result is that students can speak and write using English properly and correctly. Okay, the second, it's about Japanese period. My opinion about the teaching of English in Indonesia in the Japanese period is very bad. Because students are strictly prohibited from studying English, Dutch, or other European languages. And even books that use the English language must be thrown away and burned. So, because of that, mastery English for students at that time was very constrained. Okay, the next is independence period. In early independence, teaching English in Indonesia was experiencing problem due to a lack of learning resources or English books, due to the prohibition in the Japanese period. And the learning system used by teacher is to emphasize grammar, so that reading, speaking, writing are not priorities. So students are less proficient in applying English when speaking and writing. And after that, English textbooks and English Indonesian dictionary became available, and the government began to pay attention to English teacher in order to improve the quality of mastery of English for students in Indonesia. So, in my opinion, yeah, um, the best teaching English period is the Dutch period, because in addition to the availability of many learning resources, teachers at that time also paid attention to and emphasize the mastery of English for students in Indonesia. Okay, the question number 4 is, in your opinion, what the status of English compared to Indonesian nowadays? Okay, in my opinion, the status of English is the first foreign language. Can be said like that because in Indonesia and even in other countries, English is often used in various ways, both for studying, doing business, and even in everyday life. Although specifically in Indonesia, in daily life, Indonesian is still dominant, and English is also known as an international language because English is often the second official language in various parts of the world, while Indonesian is of course the national language for the Indonesian itself, and also the mother tongue for some people. Why for some people? Because in Indonesia there are many regional languages, and Indonesia becomes the unifying language when people from various region, of course, have different regional languages or mother tongue and meet in one place. And Indonesian is also often used in formal terms, always, as well as English, such as in lesson, business, and so on. So, English and Indonesian are used compulsory subject in school. Okay, the last question, please explain briefly about the function of English in Indonesia. The function of English in Indonesia is of course often used as a main communication in all fields, such as business, industry, technology, because the development of technology is very fast, and system in computers or technology almost all use English. And other function of English in Indonesia as a medium to extract knowledge from various parts of the world and make it easier for people to explore more knowledge from the world. So I think that's all for my answer. The last say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.